So we are back with Scene Chat, and on this one we've got a lovely gentleman joining me. I mean, it's been a pain in the ass to try and get him on. I've had to reschedule twice, and yeah, today's going to be co-hosting with me, and it's the man from Cheeky Tracks. It's Dave Gray. You might know him as General Bounce. He's been on the podcast before. And again, he seems to be here, there, and everywhere when it comes to the music scene in the north of England, anyways. So if you don't know him, you probably live under a rock, anyways. How are we doing, Dave? Are we good?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. We'll pretend we didn't talk for 5 minutes before this, but so yeah. The other night we were going to record, and we never, just due to the heat. I think Dave didn't sleep all through the night, so we had to reschedule it. But yeah, so how have you been doing it? What did you do this weekend?
I was in Manchester. Got to see Uberjack. He was doing an all-night event, and there was Nadia was playing there as well, who you've probably seen her on the label just recently. Right, she was warming up for him. It was just a random night out, really. But getting stuck in Stoke afterwards because the trains all got cancelled because of weather. So I didn't get home till like 8 last night. But
wow, Uberjack, that's the Australian producer, isn't it? He used to do the Melbourne stuff.
Yeah, he moved to Manchester about a year or so ago, I think.
All right.
So that's like over here for that, because I thought he still lived over there, but no, turns out it's in Manchester now.
What type of stuff was he playing? Like, I'm not I feel out of touch with him. But what type of stuff was he playing? I'm sure he started playing a little bit harder, like harder drops.
It was just all like hard stuff for like 3 hours, right? But so he was playing just like a hard house and like what everyone calls techno now, but it's not. But it's not techno, is it really? It's just like all like reverse type stuff.
Yeah. What brand was it that was on, or was it just like him?
It was just him. It was just like that's what I find with a lot of nights like that now. We're all sort of just like it's just a DJ with the name on the poster. It's not like really any sort of like brand or anything that does it. I think he put it on himself anyway. But you find that with a lot of these sort of nights like it's just like DJ, and if you've got anyone supporting him, it's like and friends or with Stones. So.
And what was the turnout like for him? Is his name got a pull in Manchester?
Well, it was only like a small like venue anyway. So it's a place called Stage Radio, which does lots of like small events, right? So it was just a small way anyway. I can't remember exactly how many people there. It weren't mega busy, but it was busy enough.
Oh,
so right. I didn't even find out about it until like Wednesday anyway. So I'd not seen anything about it until like Wednesday, and then I just decided to go along.
Yeah, well, even seeing you on it, like at the weekend, that was the first I'd heard about it. That's why I was a bit shocked. I didn't really know about it, because as I say, I do like that lad's stuff. I think it's a bit different, but there's definitely a market for it, isn't there? What have you been up to recently then? Yourself?
I don't think there's like a particular like big pull for that sort of music in Manchester. Like I say, because it's just the name on the poster, it's like you never know when it's turn out like, to be honest.
Oh no, definitely. So what have you been up to recently then?
What was that? Sorry.
What have you been up to recently then? Or let's say over the last couple of months.
I've just had like stuff like I was playing at Pier on the Pier. I've had a couple of gigs like else. It's like getting busy again with it being summer now. But other than that, it's just been doing stuff with a label, really. Like so, not really been much to do with it, to be honest.
I've got a whole load of questions as well about the label. The reason that we get people like yourself on, if we get someone on, we make the most of it. So obviously you are a DJ with 25, 30 years experience, but at the same time you're a label owner, and people might have questions about running a label and things like that. So I have got a couple of things jotted down which we'll get into towards the back end of this. And again, from your point of view and from your experience, a couple of things that I want to ask as well, because like I say, everyone's got a different journey, but I feel like it'd be good to get a bit of an insight looking from your end of things. And the reason I ask that is because I know that there's recently you've always had like the bouncy stuff on the label, even in the latest promo pack, there was a lot more bounce again in comparison to what there's been over the last few months. And obviously, so you're in this sort of part of the scene. You're in the hard dance bit. You're doing that what they call techno bits now, the hard trance, things like that. How do you find, obviously, like having a range of subgenres of hard dance almost on the label? Do you find having to navigate that to the right people difficult, or what?
No, not really anymore, because it's like I know plenty of like people who are into like different kind of stuff who like play and did not play all of it, but at least play one or two bits. Right. So I find it quite easy to get out there. And to be honest, a lot of the stuff that's been seen recently or doing like well streamed has been like stuff I wasn't expecting to do well with it being different on the label. Like I had it's like an acid trance track out recently, like by a lad called Jamie Hughes, and that's like sold absolutely loads, even though I wasn't aware of many people made it. And it's had like 20,000 streams in a month, so that's been all right. And there's been a few other bits as well, which I've met, like Mitch Gregson, who you probably know from Liverpool. He had a release on the label. I mainly signed it, to be honest, because it was something that different to what he'd normally done, and I just knew him from back in the day, so it's almost like a favour to signing the track. But I actually managed to get that played by quite a few like big DJs in like the hard techno scene, and that one's doing it as well. So that's something completely different to anything else on the label.
Okay, well, that's good. Like I say, when I receive the promos for him, I'm always excited to look through them, because just for the simple reason that there is a variation there. I know with some labels you get it and it's very much like a particular sound or a particular, you know what I mean? Like I've found as well, Tidy have went down that route, and a couple of the other hard dance labels, there seems to be like a wider variety of what they put out. There was a moment in time when I think someone like Tidy had slowed down a little bit with the BPMs and things, but now there's an actual range again of faster BPMs and slower.
Well, the thing is, they've always kind of had anyway. We just had like sub labels, didn't we? Like we had Tidy 2 and Untidy and stuff, and it's just like I think with for a while they've just released a lot of like the Untidy type stuff, because that was probably the only stuff that they were getting sent there that they thought fitted their brand, right? But now they're like back releasing like loads of different stuff again, so it's been good. A lot of the stuff that been lately has been really good as well.
Definitely. We'll say, you know, in the year of 2026, what producers have been sort of stuff have you been supporting mainly? Obviously both cheeky and further afield. Who's been like doing it for you and scratching that itch?
Just trying to think off the top of my head. One's on the label, I would say. Lily Healy's been a good one. She's had quite a few decent tracks out on the label. It's like she's making like loads of like really good sort of like Hannah Lang type stuff. Let me think who else. You put me on the
No worries.
There's a few I think of any off the top of my head. Like, I don't want to mention that question, but yeah, that's probably main on cheeky tracks anyway. And also with all like music I've been playing, it's like you've seen it's been a lot of like sort of energy tracks, Kyle Starkey, Jordan George, that kind of thing. Because to be honest, that really is like the best stuff coming out at the minute. It's actually different to what's been coming out on every other label for the last like 18 months. And right, it's stuff that everyone appreciates as well, because it's like it's hard house, but it's like it's almost like a lot of it's like fast house music, right? Which some people don't like, come saying, well, that's not the same as hard house. So it's like, well, what is it like when it's like 142 BPM and it's pumping? So
no,
like, it's like your typical like Hooverish stuff or anything like that. It's all like big pianos, like big vocal samples, all stuff that everyone can appreciate, really.
Well, from my end of things, right, in the sort of more bouncy stuff, I had this conversation a couple of weeks ago. I have to really dig to find stuff that's for bounce that's really good, because there's not a lot about it at the minute. It's all very repetitive, quite bland and mundane.
There really isn't. To be honest, it's like I barely signed any bounce for quite a while. It's like now he's like I'm signing like one again, but he's still like one every couple of months, as opposed to what it was before, when at least like one bounce tune out every month. There's just not a lot of good stuff like that coming out at all, to be honest. And a lot of it's because we're still like doing bootlegs and things, so people like us can't really do anything with it. But it's just that seems to be the route we're all going down. Not even like try to do anything original all the time. Because say, well, no one likes anything original, so it's a bit of a catch-22 because well, there's going to be no original stuff coming out if you're not even trying to make it.
So having someone like myself in the room right now who does the manic music stuff, and then yourself who does the cheeky track stuff, we can come as a collective and say that original stuff does work, and we've got the streams and things like that to prove it. It's just that just because you don't get the instant gratification of someone like you post the tune up and go, oh my god, this is a banger.
I think a lot of the time. That's what I think. A lot of the time, it's like we're just assuming that it's not going to do well, or we're just assuming it's not doing well because it hasn't instantly taken off. But original stuff isn't instantly just going to take off, and it never did in the first. Like it was just back then. It's like people would actually like take the time to sort of like ram it down people's throats, as it were, because it's like they'd go out and play it all the time until like people got used to hearing it out, and that's how like tracks like Heaven's Cry and stuff like that took off back, because they just got hammered to death for like 6 months by certain DJs, and then everybody sort of got used to hearing them out, and that's how it became an anthem in the end. So I think that's what a lot of what it is. Like people just expect tunes to take off. Also, they don't realise that doing an original track isn't the same as being a good track.
Yeah,
like, so it's like, well, think because they've made an original track, they've got to get attention for it. It's like, well, how good is it compared to everything else that's out? That's where the issue is a lot of the time.
Exactly. I think a lot of the people who want to be a bit experimental and put stuff out where it can go on proper labels, it can not on these digital download stores, and it can go out on on your Spotify's, your Apple Music and things. They're going for the resung vocals, the classics to still play it safe, so it's still technically not original as well. So
but see, I don't even mind like when we're getting stuff resung and things like that, but a lot of them are just doing the same tracks over and over again, especially bounce. It's like one thing I heard like when I was at BTID the other week when I was at the party. Obviously we get a lot of the sort of 7 like label producers on, and what I noticed was apart from like one person in the time that I was there, played exactly the same tunes, but just for remixes of them. And it actually got to where by sort of like 2 o'clock, I was just getting really annoyed with it. It's like, so did you not hear the people on before you? And again, why are you remixing things like Bruce Dixon and See the Light and things like that? And Steph was another one. Why are you remixing those tunes over and over again when they just got to death anyway?
Exactly.
And I think that's what it is a lot of the time. But it's like, well, think because it's being played to death, that people actually want to hear it, and it's not necessarily the case, because I can't remember who it was on before I left the after party. Right, but the one tune he played all the way through but didn't get bore people was one of his own tracks. It was like a remix of an 80s song that hadn't been played at all night. So he played it all the way through and it worked. Whereas all the others, like you could see people just getting irritated with hearing them.
No, I get that. Well, you've actually sort of progressed that conversation a little bit there with regards to what tunes are working and what tunes are not and things like that. Do you find now there's a lot of DJs who's came through in the last, I don't know, say 5 years, who have not got DJing experience? Like they've got bedroom DJing experience, but they haven't got playing to a crowd experience. So they'll turn up with like a pre-planned set, right? They'll play like 2 or 3 tunes, empty the dance floor, and they've got no gears to switch. They just stick to that set they've been practicing for weeks. I see that with a lot of the new DJs, and it's uncomforting to watch.
I don't know if it's actually that they've got no like DJ experience, or if it's just because a lot of them are producers, aren't they?
Yeah.
scene play out and our scene. I think it's that a lot of them are getting booked because the producers. And it's like, because I think, was it John Neal who posted something the other day about, right, is it still, does it still get gigs? And I think people have still got it in their head that that actually what makes you a good DJ. And it's never been the case that that automatically makes you a better DJ. It might give you more things to actually play out, right? But if you just got, it makes no difference if you just got to turn up and play like your own remixes of whatever's big at the time, right? So it's like I find a lot of them. They're just I actually find a lot of them that you don't really see them there like before the ones that played out. It's like you don't really see them there before the set or actually like paying attention to what's everyone else is playing music like in the smoking area or something like that. So I just think a lot of them just aren't paying attention to what's being played before them because I wouldn't even say it's a DJ experience thing. I would say that's kind of like a common sense thing that you pay attention to what everybody's playing before and after you. Right, so I don't think that's necessarily a DJ experience thing. I just think that's for people like turning up and thinking they can just play what they want.
Do you not think that I think this is a pretty good analogy. I've literally just thought of it now. It's not something I've really thought of before, but the DJ in 2026, if you take it back to the year 2000 as an example, and I know we should never be living in the past, but it's just a bit of an analogy. That when you're a DJ in 2000, you would have like your records that you would play, but then you would have a couple of like secret weapons that were maybe like white labels or acetates. And that's what make your set stand out. And in 2026, everyone's a producer, and that's what it should be. You should still have them records you're going to play, but then you've got these productions that you've made that no one else has got. It shouldn't be 100% production set all the time, especially if it's not working on the dance floor. It should be just little bits of like it's paprika. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think it's just what my whole day. I've always said this. It's like it used to be like you were a DJ or you're a producer or you're a promoter or a record label, and now people are trying to be all things to all people. And I think it's just an old-fashioned idea that like producers should be getting like gigs because of producers and so on. I think you have to be like a very specific kind of producer, who's like making absolutely loads of stuff or engineering stuff for other people. That's another thing, because like that's what you find a lot of DJs, sort of DJ producer types who get a lot of big gigs. They're the ones that actually like not just make all their own stuff, but make stuff for other people as well. And they'll have loads of tracks that they're not theirs as such, but ones that they can play out that they've done with other people. And I think a lot of it is just people like, I don't know how to put it, like it's people aren't really people who are like trying to get gigs because of producers aren't really thinking about the fact that you've still got to behave like a DJ. You still got to function like a DJ. You still got to be able to you still got to have like things that you wouldn't necessarily hear from anybody else. But not just like play all your big tunes and not just even play all your own stuff. Like you say, it's like if you're playing all your own stuff, right, then that's not really DJing. I can't remember which DJ said that the other day on Instagram. Like she made a video saying right that DJing is not the same as producing, and people like would think that's a stupid thing to say like a few years ago, but actually it still makes sense, because at the end of the day, if you're just turning up and playing all your own tunes, you're not behaving like a DJ.
No, I get that. So when me and John play out, you know, we sprinkle some manic stuff in there. We sprinkle some of our label stuff in there. We're not hammering 100% us, because people will get bored of it, because as much as producers don't like to admit it, there is a lot of the stuff and formulas in their tracks do sound the same, regardless of how old the track is or how how new it is.
You have your own sound, don't you? Even if it's even if it's just like basically like a sound that you recreated from somebody else, it's still you just naturally settle into your own sound. And I think that's why a lot of like say sort of like producers who engineer stuff for other people, they'll usually have more stuff that they can usually play a full set of their own stuff, as in all the stuff that they've engineered or written entirely themselves.
Mhm.
And because they're engineers, that will mean they've actually got a wider range of stuff to play because they haven't just got their sound. They've got
Exactly.
what they've done with other people. Like, so they'll have like stuff that we can play warm-up sets, they'll have stuff that we can play later sets, they'll have stuff that we can just play here, there, everywhere, like we'll have a few trancy bits or something like that, among all the other stuff we do. So, right, they just naturally have like a wider range of stuff, and that's why they can be like producer DJs, as it were.
This is something I've wanted to talk to you about as well, which we sort of relate to the conversation. We were talking on social media a few weeks ago about the early 2010s hard house sound. That was fantastic. So do you think that there's like a cycle of where something like that could come back in, that style of hard house, so to say? You know, everything works in a big loop and circle, and I found that era very fun. Do you think that there's going to be a time and a place where that sound sort of comes back?
I don't think there's a time when that sound would necessarily come back, because it wasn't the sound that made it actually so interesting. It's that there was just, people were just naturally doing more fun stuff at the time. Because I remember at the time, like we'd sort of come out of that wave of all the Vicious Circle, Glasby type stuff, right, just being played to death everywhere. And where those, because I always had it like its own little crowd that would only be into that kind of stuff. And then sort of when Hard House died, like in the late 2000s, that was when that sound was sort of like just getting hammered everywhere. Because I remember going to Sunday Central back in 2008, and that stuff was getting played like at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was thinking, for God's sake, is there any need to be playing this at this time in the afternoon?
You get that with like super niches, don't you? Like that. I actually really like the Vicious Circle sound, but like you said, when it's because things like that do take over events for time periods, and it just goes to show how iconic those sounds are. But it can be too much of a good thing. Like
I think it was more a case that the sort of people who like that sound didn't really realise that it works best at a certain time and in a certain place. And when it's like when you go to an event and start hearing that like early afternoon in the daytime. Right, the thing is, it leaves everyone else with nowhere to go, and it's like even if people, I think that's particular Sunday Central I'm thinking of. That's when I took Phil Critchley the first time. Even he said what's with all this like proper aggressive hard stuff like early on, and also I had like a few friends there who was the sort of like purish, shall we say. And it's like I think Scott Pashore was on after whoever was playing all the like filthy stuff at the time, and obviously he was playing more sort of housey end of Hard House. And as soon as he came on, it's like people were, oh, it's too slow, is too wussy or whatever. And then I think it came on after me, somebody playing like sort of technical type stuff. Oh, it's too trancey, and it's like, no, this is the sort of stuff that people come to Sun Central for. Just come for all the hard stuff, all that. And I think the thing with all that early 2010 stuff, one of those things where I don't think people really appreciated at the time how good we kind of had it, because there was loads of that style of stuff. It was all like people like Ben Stevens and Dave Owens engineering it all. Right, so a lot of it did sound the same, right, but it was just the actual content of the tracks was better. Right, it was more like happy stuff. It was more melodic stuff, the sort of stuff that would actually you enjoy. Even if you don't particularly enjoy that sound, you would enjoy the tunes themselves, right? Because there's a lot of tunes out at the time which were sort of like, I remember them being big, like Wizard inspiration and sort of, it was all the sort of kind of Wizard tracks and things like that. And also, I think because a lot of that was that whole era when pretty much every genre was just bootlegs, right? So a lot of them were coasting on the fact that there were bootlegs of old tunes as well, like because you had that in pretty much every scene back then. It's like that was the time when copyright went out the window, didn't it?
I remember.
Other than that, the only stuff that was popular was the Whitby kind of thing, but it was all like that dubsteppy stuff, which I don't think anyone really enjoyed. I think when you listen back to some of that, I'm just like, wow, did this happen? But I remember this being a thing, but it soon went out of fashion, and now all that stuff, even though it's probably sounded more modern than everything else at the time, now it sounds really, really dated.
Yeah,
Right,
is it the HDM
uh,
stuff, isn't it? Is that what it was? The like what they call HDM?
hard dub and things like that, because that sort of sound just invaded every style of music. Because I think it sort of came from like the electro scene when everybody was trying to do. Everyone was trying to recreate electro in another genre.
Yeah,
And then
I
the
remember.
dubstep came along, and it was like, I remember it was in hardcore, hard house, like house music. And it was like, I think that was one of the things that killed it, really, because it was just like everybody trying to coast on it. And when you listen back to that stuff, it's not apart from that most of it is shite. It's like, it all sounds old. It sounds so old. But it's like the sort of stuff that was coming, like hard house stuff that we were on about that was good.
Yeah.
It was just using sounds from like 25 years before. Right, so I don't actually think that sound will come back around, just because it was more about the content of the tracks than it was about the actual sound. It was just like getting an old sound and just making good tunes with it, really.
No, I like that. I like that. That hard dance, whatever it was a bad era. Looking back at it, like I remember at the time,
I think the whole dance music was a bad era at the time.
Well, to be honest with you, right, there was some really, really good producers I enjoyed in just slightly before that period. And I'm not throwing anyone under the bus, but I'm going to list them because I rate them as producers. Like people like Carlston Chaos, people like Glenn, Energy Syndicate, and people like that. But then when it went into that
good
sound,
producers anyway. That was the thing. They were just good producers anyway. So it's like when they're making stuff, it was always got to be, even if it was something you didn't like, you'd appreciate it was well produced.
Yeah,
it was just that when they were all doing that kind of thing, it was just like they all just then started blending into one another after a while.
Yeah, and as you said, you listen back to it. I remember it at the time. It sounded like I was like, "Oh, this is fresh. This sounds like a step ahead of everybody else." But then you look back retrospectively, and it just sounded far too digital.
Well, the production standard of it was good, especially compared to a lot of the sort of hard houses coming out of the time, because a lot of it was bedroom producers, or it was just people like going in with demo ones and not really asking for anything other than maybe a track that sounds like this.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I also know that a couple of the engineers who were around at the time, it's like, I always said you got out of them what you put in. Like, it's like the longer you spent with them, the better the track will be. Whereas if you were just going up there with the intention of just knocking out a bootleg or something that's got I don't know, an old 90s vocal with a piano and a rolling bass line, it's like you could tell when Dave Owens could knock stuff out in like 3 hours. Right, so it was all like the longer you spent with him, the more input you gave him, the better you got. But all the sort of tracks where he wasn't getting a lot of input, you weren't getting a lot of output from him either. Right, so it's like you heard like the production standard of some of those tracks, and it's like it was good, but it was not good by his standards and what he could do. Whereas a lot of that hard dance stuff that Whitby and everybody were playing, it was well produced, but it was just like I say, it's all about the content of the tunes. And those sort of tracks, it's like I listen back to them and just think, wow, I don't think a lot of them were ever really big either. It's just that we just got played by a big DJ like Whitby or whoever. So people saw them as being big because of who played them, and actually it was like a lot of them I don't remember anyone really liking them as such.
I can't remember the dance floors going crazy to them either. Do you know what I mean?
There were no sort of anthems from that time. I think the only one that became an anthem was sort of like Hallie Gage, Breakneck Bastard and stuff like that. Like that's huge.
Well,
I've heard that out. I've actually still heard that out like once or twice since.
I still play from that time. It was it's Callie Gage, Joy, but the Carlston Chaos remix.
Yeah, that was always a really good one. That was a really good one.
I still play that now. It doesn't sound dated like the rest of them. It's got different elements to it.
And there's a few of us from that time I can remember. It's like I'm just trying to think what specifically what the word now. But it's like there was a handful of others from that time which are still like popular with a certain crowd. I know a lot of the Bounce crowd liked some of them, didn't they? Because that was that whole era, and Whitby was sort of like getting big because it was with Club Filler, doing a lot of stuff with Club Filler, and obviously the Bounce scene knew him from that. Right, so I remember, like, I mean, I still hear things like the Whitby and Club Filler remix, "Love Shy" out quite a lot, which I really liked at the time, right? Because that was like one of the better ones I did, and it still gets played out now, and it still works, right? But it's like a whole sort of like that hard dance era, like what I would refer to as the autumn era, because it was all that Whitby's label. Like a lot of that stuff is just right. But I just listened to that and just think, what was going on here?
I know what you mean.
I think it was just a bad time for dance music as well, because it was like, I think that was sort of the era where people kind of realised they were reinventing the wheel too much, because it was all, every year there had to be a new genre of dance music, didn't there?
Yeah,
it was like, and then it was gradually getting to the point where it was getting less and less musical and less about dancing, and then dubstep became big, and you had all the sort of like Skrillex type stuff, where I remember saying to people, so this is dance music for people who don't want to dance.
Yeah.
You never when you saw people, that sort of thing get played out, it was like people weren't dancing, we were just having, it looked like we're having a collective seizure.
I know what you mean.
Like, I think after that point, that's when everybody started, right, that's when you got the whole, right, we're going to go back to like recreating what was big in the 90s. So what we did was that's when you got all the Philip George type tracks out that were doing well, and the Tough Love ones where it was just like organ, piano, vocal, drum. And it literally just sound like 90s house tunes.
I think, and this is a compliment, by the way, to you. Don't take it as an insult, because I promise you it's not. I think that off the back of that era, I think that's what really established Cheeky Tracks. That 2014, 2015, 2016, like the tunes you're putting out there, people like obviously Groove Control, Venkman, you know, there was a whole load of producers who were coming with fresh ideas, and it was exciting. Like, I still play a lot out from that era. When you brought that first Cheeky Tracks album out, I think it was a turning point away from that, and it's like, leave that behind. This is the variation that you've got going forward, and I think that's what really established your label. If I'm honest with you, you might disagree, but oh, okay.
I agree. I say that, mate. Well, actually, that was around the time when I properly took the label over as well, because for a while I'd basically been doing everything with it except dealing with the royalties. Right, so that was around the time I took it over. Really, it's like, and I think before that, the only producers you had really that were like Ordox and Elevate, who were actually like putting like loads of stuff out at the time. It was like, it was other than sort of like Whitby type stuff, or the Ben Stevens like vocally Fireball type hard house stuff. That was the only the producer I can think of which really stood out at the time. I mean, obviously we had like a few like tunes on the label that stood out, but it was usually just like the producer would come along and did one or two tracks for the label. And then it's sort of like, it was 2015 when you got Phil doing a load of stuff like Groove Control. I started getting like Digital Mafia to like remix some of the tracks and things like that. And that was when I was like putting a package together with a lot of the tracks as well. Right, and that was all, and also that was around the time I started DJing at Void as well. So, right, that was one of them where it's like, oh, right, I can see what I can push here. I was actually deliberately going out of my way to get stuff that, not even for me to release on the label, just stuff that I could play out, which I thought I'd be able to get away with playing in there. Right, so I was deliberately literally going out of my way to like try and find stuff that I thought, right, if I could play this in there, it'll work anywhere.
Yeah,
and that was what I was doing a lot of at the time, and and to be fair, that was like the next few years on the label. That was how a lot of that stuff came about. To be fair, right? So yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, but like I said, and at that time as well, you had range with regards to, you might release like a Ross Thompson track that's a bit groovier and slower, right up to like you still had some hard as nails stuff on there. Like I remember hearing a couple of them, and it's just like the range was really good there. So like I said, I think you probably played the field a little bit, see what was popping off post disaster era, and then from there.
I think it's just more of a case of like I said, I was playing out at different places. And I was just wanting stuff where it's like I could play it and it'd work. And it's like, and that was the time I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna sign what I like. I'm not even asked if it's fix the label as such.
Mm-hmm.
The label is big. When people like talk to me about the labels, I really like stuff from the label, and you release a good range of stuff. I'm just like, I just release what I personally like. it's literally what I personally like. If it's something I don't think is going to work for everybody else, I'm not going to sign it. But
Yeah,
it's the bottom line is that it's got to be something I personally like or see something in.
What about this then? Is there and this is just me off the top of my head, is there anything that you've knocked back that you regret?
Ooh. I can't think of anything, to be honest, because it's like the things the things that I would have knocked back, like, this is no disrespect to anybody else. They wouldn't have gone on to a bigger label. They wouldn't have gone on to a bigger label or gone on to like a smaller label than me, because it's like if I was to knock it back, then where are they going to take it? Tidy. It's like if we're going to take it to Tidy, but took it to Tidy to start with. And it's like a lot of the tracks that I cited, but there was a whole era actually where sort of like 2015, 16. That was around the time when like people really try to get onto Tidy and so on. And I think a lot of the stuff it was just like Tidy, or even now it's like, I hope don't mind me saying this, like they were always a bit hard to get hold of, or it's like they'd say we were going to release a track and then it's like they wouldn't do anything with it because they'd try playing it out or whatever and it wouldn't work as well as they still do a lot of what we call the test era, if you get me, where it's like they'll play it out before they sign it, where it's like, oh, these days if we're gonna sign it, they'll say yes or no there and then. But it's like I was actually getting a lot of like Tidy cast-offs. So it's like some of them were tracks that I wanted to sign in the first place, and then we said, "Oh no, Tidy's supposed to be having it," and then it's like a few weeks later, we said, "We released it. Do you want it?" So
it's not necessarily a bad thing, though. It's not a bad thing at all, because Tidy have got a specific sound, whether it is, as I say, a Tidy, Untidy, Tidy 2, any of the above, whatever.
Yeah.
So sometimes the tunes didn't fit any of those, but when you hear it, you're like, that's a cheeky tracks tune at heart, that, or something of that nature. So
if there's any that I really great signing for that reason, just because it's like if you got onto a smaller label than me, if it was going to work with somebody else in a different, how to put it, it's like again, this is no disrespect to any smaller labels. There's a lot of them just don't like promote themselves very well, or they just don't understand the concept of like trying to get it on Spotify playlists and things like that. Where it's like a track that I would have like signed, if I regretted signing, it would have had to like do really, really well, like without all the things that I could offer, like that track. And it's like, yes, there are have looked at where it's like, but say for example, they've come, I've asked to sign it and then they've not got back to me, but I've seen it on a smaller label. I'm just like, yeah, belonged on my label, but it's like I don't look at it like I regret it, because it's like if anything, it's going to be the artist that does. That's not really up my own arse, but it's just like it's got to be the artist that regrets it more than me. But in fact, a few of them even said, I wish I'd have put that on your label instead. Right, so it's just like, I told you.
No, I know where you're coming from. I noticed that actually this is something I want to praise the Bounce scene for, that's pretty good at, and I think some of the hard house producers are maybe a little bit too proud. And in the year 2026, it is about social media presence. It's about being able to promote your stuff and things like that. I've noticed that like some of the labels in hard house and that sort of space is they won't like you said, they won't pitch to Spotify playlists. They put it out and just hope for the best. It's like it's not good enough. Whereas I think in Bounce, a lot of them understand that you need to, if you want results, you've got to put in the work to promote it. And do you know what I mean?
I wouldn't necessarily say the Bounce scene understands that, right? I think a lot there are a handful that will go out of the way to like get the tracks Spotify and things like that. Right, but I just think you're like, I think with a lot of the Bounce people, it's like we're too used to doing things a certain way. For example, like SoundCloud. It's like, but all the bothered about is getting the SoundCloud plays, right? So it's like a bit of that. I've had to pull a few of the artists I've got, the bounce artists I've got on the label, because we'll say to me, all this track did really well. How come it's not paying any royalties out? And it's like, because it's still got less than 1,000 plays on Spotify. When I look at the Spotify streams, they'll have had like 200 plays in a year. And I'll say to us that if you really want to get out there with them, you need to like push that side of things more. And they just don't.
So it's SoundCloud like, is literally for mixes. That's it. Like,
well, the thing is actually like Spotify now is what. Not Spotify, SoundCloud now is going down the Spotify route. We're trying to, if you notice, you can't amplify mixes on there and stuff anymore like you could. Like when it gives you the amplify track thing, now it's like for anything that's less than 10 minutes long. And also, if it's like a mix or something like that, it just automatically won't let you do it. Whereas it's like an individual track, it will, because they're wanting to make it more like Spotify at the end of the day. But what I think the will, if they can do it, if they can really do it without losing audience share, right, then they will eventually get rid of DJ mixes and things like that altogether, I think, because you can see for years have been pushing it to go down the Spotify route. But I think a lot of what it is with balancing is like they're just like used to SoundCloud, YouTube, maybe YouTube. Right? Then that's where they'll put up stuff, and also they don't get the concept of, right, if your track's not coming out for months, don't put it on there 6 months before it's been released, or before you've even played it out. That's one thing that gets me. It's like, don't put it on there before you've even played it out, because you're not even giving yourself an opportunity to get people into it yourself. Or at least like give it to DJs first. It's like I think with hard house, you do get people who are sort of like too proud to like promote the stuff. But I just think a lot of them just don't know how to. I think it's the same way as everybody else, who just don't know how. And they like posting, like getting people to play it on there is begging, but it's like, well, no, it's like, do you want people to hear it or not?
Yeah, people seem to think that there's a bit of a thin line between, you know, like promoting it and, you know, being a bit beggy. And it's like, no, it's marketing 101, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? The best analogy is you're never gonna get out there and be a DJ if you're only mixing in your bedroom and no one can hear you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the other thing is with that is right, when people are sort of like going on about, I don't want to look beggy and things like that, it's like, well, what do you consider being beggy? Right, it's like, I wouldn't say like sharing your tracks and getting people to listen to them is beggy. I think if anything, what's beggy is the sort of things that people do on social media to get attention. Like instead of like, you know, try to make videos and things, like you get them sort of dancing around your kitchen videos and things like that. I would say that I'm more irritated by. I mean, you probably notice it, especially in sort of like house music, like you get people like posting the same tune 30 times a month, and it's like they'll literally post it every single day, right, for a month leading up to release. Sometime before they get released, and the release day coming soon, it's been a free download on SoundCloud. And then it's like, but they'll literally post videos of them dancing around different parts of the house or out in the street and things like that. I'm just like, I'd be more embarrassed by doing that. And it's like, there are some people who can do sort of content and make it entertaining. Not a lot can, and you can tell that a lot of people don't actually want to do it, because what I do always say about that sort of content is it's like watching porn. You can see when they're not enjoying it by looking in their eyes.
No, exactly.
And when you see the look in their eyes, they're like, you can see not only it makes you want to die inside when you see it, because it's like, it's cringe, because you can see they think it's cringe, if you get me. And it's like that. And even if it's not cringe to them, it's like, it's the fact it's repeated hammering it out 30 times a day on TikTok in a different video in a different part of the house every day. Or like just sort of people just endlessly post it to death. It's not irritating, because it's like ends up filling your feed with you've seen it already. I don't need to see it again.
It's like when you watch,
maybe like do it in the run up to a release, but not post it every single. And what the main ones that annoy me are the people who say who will mention a big artist in the post on purpose, say, get this in front of Hannah Lang or something like that, or like read this till so and so's label has noticed me, and it's just like, no, go away. And they all do it as well.
Yeah,
there's a lot of them do it, so that's what makes it more irritating. So, the other favourite one is for people who like do the big emotional. I mean, they're supposed to like screenshot of so and so downloaded their track on SoundCloud, and they'll be like, right, so, oh, I'm sorry. It's just like, all they've done is download it. They might not have even listened to it for all you know.
Even still, even if they have, like you shouldn't be acting like that. Do you know what I mean? No,
It's not like earth-shattering news, is it? It's like
no.
It's both of them that I find begging. Like just like asking people to support it. Is that begging?
I often think, right, because I think I don't know what people's public perception is of myself, but when I do videos and stuff, I actually I enjoy doing it. Like I enjoy, but I've never done this, oh my god, reaction videos or anything. It's just simply like if I've got something I'd find interesting from another artist, like if I'm showing like music that I'm working on or how I made something, or clips from this scene chat and things like that. Like I really enjoy it, and I find it quite natural to do.
Yeah.
But I've often thought to myself, I wonder if I'm in that cringy category, because I don't know. I just feel like
you can see when people like enjoy doing it, because I'm just being nice about it. And it's like right, because it's like, obviously you've seen I started like hammering like reels out quite a lot, and it's just for me dancing around fucking Pirate Studio or something like that. But it's like a lot of people have actually said to me, like even like a couple of people quite high up in the music industry work for like companies like UMG or what, have actually said to me, said, out of all the people they see like doing the sort of dancing videos, like they can see it's just me on the decks and myself, because you see a lot of big DJs who do these sort of like reels where it's like them playing like a new tune or whatever, and them dancing in the studio to it, right, while they're playing a TikTok set or something. Some of them, like, so I'm not going to name any name, but some of them quite clearly look like Ron Cocaine. And then there's others who just overdo it to the point, and some of them just like really overdo it and just look ridiculous. And you can see we're doing it for the camera. And then there's others who are just like, you're over 50, mate. You can't be doing stuff like this, like to appeal to the kids on TikTok. It just, because it just looks weird, and you can see they're doing it to get attention. Whereas like a lot of people, like I said, out of all the people we see doing that, I'm someone who just looks like it's just I'm enjoying myself and the camera happens to be there, rather than I'm doing it for the camera. And there's not many people who can do that, I think. And it's like that. I think that's the thing. It's like a lot of people you get, like, so for, like yourself, it's like you can see you're like doing this sort of thing. This is what you do. So of course you got to be on camera.
It's like I'm going to steal your porn star analogy, mate. I'm in it for the love of the game. I'm in it for the game. Pure raw dog in it. No,
you wouldn't. I don't see why people do this sort of thing if they don't want to do it, because it's not going to achieve anything if you don't.
No, exactly.
Even like people like us, we might have been doing this like 2-3 years and nobody took any notice of us. Like, but we still carry on doing it. But like, we'll just carry on doing it for 2 or 3 years and like not even see very little growth for it if we didn't enjoy doing it. Right? Because I don't think I've had like a huge amount of growth from what we do from doing it. But you do find like once you get to a certain point, you do hit that point.
Yeah.
It's like, because I've had things that I've got to the point where it's like I can't go out anywhere, even just for a night out there somewhere. But I could go somewhere and like I don't know anybody, and somebody will come to me going, "I follow you on TikTok."
I've had the same.
And it did get disturbing after a while, because I think I remember it's also really annoying when you get it repeatedly, and it's like you've just gone out for a night out and you might not know anybody there. You'll get like 10 people in an hour coming to me in a bar one saying, "I follow you on TikTok." And I had someone who was actually a TV star. He was in Emmerdale. he came up to me and said, I follow you on TikTok. And I was just like, you used to be in Emmerdale. It's like that was also always a bit weird. It took me a while to get used to, but that's all thing. You do hit that growth point eventually if you carry on doing it. Like, I mean, you've been doing this sort of thing ages. And it's like, it was only sort of in the last couple of years that people really started to notice it, didn't they? So,
well, the podcast thing got a little bit weird for me when I was doing the weekly podcasts. I was with my missus' family going through in Blackpool for the day, and some guy clearly off his tree, and when I say honestly, he ran over to me. I thought he was going to punch me. He had no top on, roided up to fuck, and I thought he's going to knock me out here. Like, he come over as if he was going to punch me. He picked me up from my legs. Hiya, mate. Da, 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 da. I've never seen this guy in my life. My missus' family, what the fuck is going on here? He's going, mate, I'm so and so. I follow you. I watch your podcast every week. Da, da, da. I'm like, that's not how you approach another human being if you don't know them. If that was my mate, then I'd be like, that's a bit of a laugh. It's fucking weird.
Well, the thing is that I was actually speaking about when I appeared the other week. I got speaking to Andy Whitby sounding quite well. I've always been on with that guy, right? So it's like especially on the business level, it's like we know where we are with each other. It's like we can talk to each other about things that he probably can't speak to about anyone else. And it's like I remember it's like there were loads of people coming up to him at their pier, obviously, and it's I was sympathetic. I was not quite honoured when he turned around and started saying to people, like, do you mind? I'm trying to have a conversation with my mate here and stuff. It's like, and it's like the amount of people who just come up to him trying to get his attention is just like, right, I'm moaning about the little attention I get. It's like, right, the fact that I can't go to a bar anymore without people recognising me. It's like, he gets this wherever he goes. He's literally had people following him around the supermarket and stuff when he was with his kid.
Yeah.
Wanting to say hello to him. And he's like, I remember because me Charlie's like we just both said to him, I'm so glad I'm not you.
Well,
in the nicest way possible, I'm so glad I'm not you.
Me and you look relatively normal and blend in with the environment. He's got a distinctive head, so it's like, if you go anywhere, it's like.
Well, that is true.
No, do you know what I mean?
But I've got the same thing now since I've grown this, so it's like there's quite a few people that say it actually makes you more visible. Right, because before I just looked like a generic person. In fact, when I look at in fact, one of the reasons I won't get rid of this now is because I look like Levi Belfield from the serial killer. Especially when I put on quite a lot of weight before lockdowns. During lockdown, it's like I looked like a serial killer. So I mean, people keep saying, "Well, you look like one now with it," and it's like, well, people recognise me more on the back of it. So.
Honestly, it's better than what I get. I'd rather be known as a serial killer. Every fucking couple of months, someone will say to me, "Oh, you look like that." What's that singer called who did Desire with Calvin Harris?
Sam Smith.
Yeah, everyone calls me Sam Smith, and I fucking hate it. Like, I don't see it personally, but people send me pictures saying it's Sam Smith, and it's like, no, I know.
I can. This is going to sound awful. I can say, right, if you look at these pictures from sort of 2022, see it. That's all I'm going to say.
And then somebody else, I had to Google this one because I'm not down with the kids, but there's another guy called Mac Miller. And apparently I look like Mac Miller, so I don't see it myself, but it is what it is. Well, we're going to have to get into this now.
I'm saying absolutely nothing. I'm saying absolutely nothing. The fact that you said Mac Miller, I'm just like, yeah.
I can see the resemblance of Mac Miller, to be fair. When I Googled it, I was like, oh, fucking hell. I can see something, but I don't see myself looking like Sam Smith.
You look like Count Dankula at a wash. If you know who Count Dankula is.
I don't know.
In fact, I was watching because he was a guy. He was a guy. He got a conviction for teaching his dog to do a certain salute on YouTube.
Oh right, I'm gonna have to have a look for this now and then.
he's obviously he ended up being a YouTuber because of it, but it's like in fact, there was actually a comic post he did where somebody said he looked like the bloated corpse of Mac Miller.
Oh, thanks. I look like a fat Mac Miller then.
Sorry.
No, I'm only joking. So I actually want to get into topic of the week. I've wanted to talk about this with you for a while, and it just so happens that there is something in the news that's kind of related to it. So I'm going to bring this up. You might have heard about it, you might have not. So I'm just going to read it to you anyways. So topic of the week this week. Do you know Kevin Mackay from Glasgow Underground?
Yes. Oh, is this about the AI song that's gone to #1 on Beatport or something?
Yes. So this is an AI claim from Kevin Mackay. It's not been proven what the track is yet, but a fully AI generated track's just hit #1 in its genre on Beatport. Neither the DJs buying the track nor the people dancing to it had a clue. It says, let's play a house this week in the same way. AI nearly got past me, and I asked an artist I loved for some music. So what?
Yeah.
I don't know the track. I don't know if you know it. I don't know if it's in public knowledge what the track is, but apparently
I don't think nobody's actually what it is.
Yeah.
I noticed that none of these articles have said anything about what track it is, and neither's he.
Mm-hmm. So what?
So it's like I have no idea what track it's on about, but I've read the story.
Okay. So I think you've got background on it.
I saw the original post, and then 3 days later, all dance music pages on Instagram were posted about it. And one thing I will say about these sort of like news stories, by the way, is that I do think some of them only get any attention because it's like it might be a slow news week or something. The amount of stuff I've seen blow up on these pages are just like news. And I've seen the original post go viral. It's like and the whole, it's kind of like you get into the news anyway quite a lot these days, but it's like where something will go viral, so the news will talk about it. It's like, but nobody would have cared otherwise if it hadn't been one person posting about it.
Yeah, exactly. But what I want to know is, right, because obviously me and you've had some voice note discussions about AI and use of AI and things like that. What's your opinion? It's not really hit the dance scene yet. I've seen it in rock, and I've seen it in country music as well, in America especially. I don't know if you noticed now, but there's a different...
a lot of the inside the sort of like music that's actually being people are downloading and buying. A lot of it is AI pop. Like apparently, right? Because I don't know if you saw the post about pop charts the other day, where it's like, have you seen all these old songs in there? Talking about would have been a Mac Miller song.
Yeah.
It's just like, you've seen all these old songs in the chart, like, but it's not even like ones that have necessarily gone viral for a reason. It's stuff like Jennifer Lopez on the floor, right? Things like that. And it's like I was reading the comments on the charts, and there's loads of people saying, why are these old songs in the charts? Like somebody said, we should go back to just counting sales. And they said, but if you actually have a look at the sales charts, it's full of AI tunes. But I don't know how true that is. But people are saying that a lot of the stuff that's being downloaded AI music. But so it's like it's obviously bigger than we think it is, but it's kind of like AI in general. I think it's just like, I don't know what to say to it. It's like you can moan about it all you want. It's here.
Yeah, no, I agree. The thing that really bothered me was I looked in like the country chart when I seen it in the news, and it was like something like 5 or 6 of the tracks in the top 10 of the country charts were all artificially made. So it's literally labels creating these tracks now. So you had like Ella Langley, and you had I'm not very good with country, but Ella Langley.
I think with country music, it's boomer music, isn't it? It's like it's kind of one of the things where it's like that's the sort of music popular with a certain age group, and it's like they're the sort of people who can't really spot what it is, because it's like it's like she's like reading something on Facebook, and it's like she'll read it out to me and just go, "That's an AI post." And she's like, "What?" It's just like, I've had to explain to her what is and isn't AI.
Yeah.
But you know, what I mean, I'm actually getting this. I'm finding this with a lot of older people. It's like they just don't understand how to spot AI, and even when you tell them, a lot of the time they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I've seen this one like where it was one of those pages on Facebook. Was there was ones that does all the they'll be talking about this child with Down syndrome was going to get aborted and things like that. But
Mm-hmm.
right, his mum refused to have an abortion and blah blah blah. It's like it'll come with a photo that's quite
Mm-hmm.
clearly eyed. It's like the amount of time I've seen stuff like that, and people in the comments saying, right, this is why is everyone taking this seriously? It's a fake story because it's
Yeah.
just written by AI. And people in the comments saying, I don't care if it's written by AI, at least it's better than the new. And it's just like, when you get people saying they don't care, it's just like,
Yeah.
music's the least of people's worries, I think, with stuff like that.
Okay. So with regards to AI, then, I'm assuming you've had stuff that's been submitted that's got some AI input in it. I assume, but if you were to receive a fully AI done track by somebody, would you accept it, like on your ethics and morals, or what's your standpoint on
No,
this?
no, because the thing is, it's like, well, number one, a lot of big music that me and you are signing to our
Mm.
label. It's like AI can't do it yet.
Hmm.
Like,
It's getting pretty good though.
it's getting better, but
Hmm.
it took right. You've seen how much I've used it just for memes,
Hmm.
like just like Suno, and actually like doing all these like silly AI songs was a good way
Hmm.
of learning how to use it.
Hmm.
And it's like it took it 18 months before it understood the word donk.
Hmm.
It took it 18 months from me using it before it understood the word donk, and now and even now, it's like I can put that word in or put offbeat, bouncy bass line. It will not give me what I want.
Hmm. Hmm.
It will not give me what I'm looking for. It'll be like one in 50 results will give me what I'm looking for, and even then, it still won't be right.
Hmm.
Right, but right. So it's like it's a bit. I suppose it depends how people have done it, right? Because it's like I'm trying. Have you actually tried Suno Studio yet?
No.
Right, have a play about it. That's all I'm gonna say. It's like because if you pay for the Premier package on Suno,
Hmm.
right, which basically gives you like I think it's like 25 quid a month. You basically get a Suno Studio, which is basically a DAW.
Hmm.
It's like right, and there's stuff you can do with it. Like you could actually make a fully AI generated track,
Hmm.
right? But you could have actually just made each individual sample with AI,
Hmm.
and then thrown it together yourself. Right, so it's like you can easily spot when something's just been like a
Of course.
prompt. Like, because
Hmm.
it's like this, obviously you've seen this yourself. I think you mentioned this on your podcast the other week. Where it's like people were getting a lot of tracks with pseudo vocals in,
Hmm.
and it's like right. There's just something about it. It's one of those things where the more generic the prompt, the more generic, the less the less input you give it, the less output you're gonna get.
Hmm.
Right, and it's like I can tell when people just put, "Give me a vocal, give me a female vocal," because it's the
Hmm.
same voice every single time.
Hmm.
Right, because
Exactly.
I've had a couple of tracks like that, and it's like I don't mind that so much, right? Because especially if you've like written some lyrics yourself, a lot of people aren't doing that as well. When people, right, we need to start telling people this. Like, when you're doing things on Suno, it's actually part of the license agreement of using it. That's
Yeah.
like that you only own it as long as you're subscribed to Suno.
Hmm.
Right, so basically, you could be giving a label a track to sign,
Hmm.
and but you're in breach of your contract by giving them that track to sign because it's not for you to sell that vocal on because
No.
you only earn it as long as you've got a pseudo account. And we know for a fact a lot of people are just going to like use it for what they need and then cancel the subscription.
Of course. Of
Right,
course.
so people need to remember this, and also if the lyrics have been generated entirely by Suno,
Hmm.
you don't own them. There's no copyright on them.
Hmm. No, I understand that, and as well, like you see people who I've heard a lot of covers recently of like I heard one the other day of Four Strings Take Me Away, and
Yeah,
they've just AI'd the lyrics through it, and it doesn't sound anything like the original. But I was just like, fuck me, this is terrible. Like,
well, I found that quite odd that people were doing that, because it's like Audime's existed for as long as Suno has. Right? It's like, I just tell people, just run it through Audime. Like, basically what they do is there to do covers.
Yeah.
Like, what you do is you just upload like the vocal you want to like covered. And as long as it's clean enough, right, you can even choose what voice and everything. It's not like you ask it to do it in the same voice. You have to go choose which voice you want, because I think basically just like got a load of singers, right, to give them their voices. Basically, the clones their voices, right? But then it's like, obviously you can get things like a male version of a female vocal and stuff like that.
Some of it's really good, by the way.
Some of them are really good, and it's like but also one other thing people need to watch out with this as well. It can't be too close to the original voice, because basically, I think Kettimer, when he did Pretty Green Eyes, when he originally put it on Spotify, it was the original like Mike Scala vocal, right? So when obviously being pulled up about it, then he took it down and put an AI version up. But if you listen to it, even because it's been done by AI. Right, someone like Mike Scala got a voice that's too distinctive, right? It's like you can even hear it's got the Scousness in his voice, things like that. And I think there's a bit of dispute at the moment over whether, like, what constitutes, whether it's still copyright infringement, because it's like, if it's different enough, I suppose it's not going to be copyright infringement. If you've just like got it re-sung by AI. But I've tried it out with a few of like the studio quality vocals I've got. Right, I think because I've got a few like club landing tracks like this, like Voodoo and Serrano Overload, and got Audime to re-sing it. And as soon as it came back, I thought that sounds exactly the same as the original voice. It's just not got the breathing in it. But that's the only reason you can tell it's AI, because there's no breathing noises in it.
Yeah, there's no natural sort of human.
And I actually sent it to someone who works all around the world on universities, and said, it's just like, if you had told me that's an AI cover, I would have thought it was the original vocal.
And I bet you as well, if you put it in the music too, it would because obviously you hear some people who cut vocals out and use like a vocal remover using AI. And it sounds awful in isolation, but when you put it sort of masks the mistakes almost when you put it in the track. I bet you if you put that in the track, it would sound.
The thing is that with those sort of like AI sort of like steps, what is it? Sort of the
stem separators.
It doesn't say. Yeah, stem separators. It's like you're never going to be able to do it right, because it's you be. Right, because you get this to Suno as well, because people don't realise when you get the stems off Suno, that's all it's doing, it's stem separation. Right, the stems don't exist in isolation.
Yeah.
Like I said, right, when Suno is literally the best way to describe it is like, remember when you used to get like those really old prints that took ages and you start printing everything line by line? That's basically what Suno does. That's the equivalent of what Suno's doing. It's not actually creating all these parts in isolation and putting them together. Right. So when people are getting the parts, a lot don't realise that the stems don't exist. It's actually just stem separation. Right. So it's like when people are doing that, right? You might be able to mask it in the original, in whatever track you do. Right. But you can still hit it. And like people who listen to it properly will still be able to tell. And it's like it's never going to be 100% perfect. It's a thing with Audime. It's a lot. One thing you can do with it, you can just literally put a link to a YouTube video, right, and it will cover whatever it is. But it's like, but what you're having to do is trying to. I think he says, do you just want the vocal? Do you want the backing vocal and things like that? And you basically have to like filter it. It kind of like does the same thing, like where it's like it'll obviously like recreate it, like, but it's almost like a stem separation thing. So if there's a lot of backing vocals in the vocal you send it, right, you'll hit, and you ask it not to put the backing vocals in, you'll hear artifacts where it's have to like filter those out, if you get me.
Oh yeah, definitely as well. Like, and a good producer can tidy that up to an extent too. When you see some people who just leave it in, because I don't know if you know this, but like when you hear a Suno vocal that's been stem separated and you drop it into a track, it's got naturally really like high ear piercing frequencies that do need fixed by somebody who knows what they're doing. And I've heard a few of these demos that I've had through that just sound so horrid on the high end. It's
yeah. I signed a track that's got it's got an AI vocal in it, and to be honest, it sounds fine. But it's like when I listen back to it later on, I thought so. It does actually sound like it's just been done with Suno stem separation, right? Like, well, not even done with Suno stem separation, done with like another AI one online, right? Rather than Suno's own, because at least Suno's own will it pretty much gives it clean. It pretty much gives it clean. It's like, whereas if you actually try, because I remember when that was one of the first things that me and Amber like tried with it when we were first playing about with it. Was like, this was like when you were still in like version 3, right? Which version 3 of Suno is like, I think when I started using it for all this joke stuff, like I listen back to those bits now and think they sound awful. Like compared to what it does now.
The content though, the content is fantastic. May I add, the actual content of it is fantastic. Some of those covers were my favorite tracks of that year. Like just how ridiculous they were. Like, I don't know. Maybe I've just got a horrible sense of humor, or maybe, I don't know. But
the thing is, like that's the sort right to me. Like that's the sort of thing that's best used for. It's like because we've seen all those channels on YouTube, like chat music.
It's
like those. Yeah, it's just right. It's like, but that chat music channel, right? That is actually just released all those on Spotify. Right, that's how because that's how it makes his money. It's like you're not going to be able to sit and do stuff like that all day unless you're making money off it somewhere. And he's like, fair enough. It's like Spotify's going to flag it as AI, but something like that, no one cares it's AI.
No, it's fun. It's just fun. I mean, I don't know what the legalities of your Suno antics are, because there's some things said on that that's questionable. I'm not sure.
It's actually no different. It's no different to what else on Spotify has been doing. It's like, who is it? Cunt and the Gang who do all those songs like that. Right, about Prince Andrew being a nonce and things like that. No one's going to come after them for something like that, because it basically just them singing about the news. Right, so it's like, but that thing is like, there's no difference. Most of you doing on Suno, no difference. That although, like I say, actually being a really good way to learn how to use it best.
No, definitely. But
it's like the actual. I think it's as for it being in any other sort of music, guys. It's like whether people like it or not, the robots are here.
No,
actually, and music's the least of our worries with AI, because it's like, come on, you've watched Terminator.
Well,
you've watched Terminator, and let's be honest. Like, if we are going to rise of the machines, it's not going to be Terminator style. It's probably going to be more absolutely more hilarious, and still going to be the end of the world. We'll be laughing about it.
Just for a little bit of context, maybe some people don't know who's listening. My actual day job is working and monitoring AI. I work in cybersecurity, but I also do AI auditing. And let me tell you now, we are only in its infancy, and that's fact. We've got auditors of how corporate businesses are utilizing AI, and them regulations and guidelines, and still very, very grey, because they don't know how the capabilities of it. So in 10 years time, we're going to probably be looking back at this, and I wouldn't even be surprised if a lot of these AI generated vocals, as I've released on my label, you've released on your label, will potentially be pulled down, because where they've sourced the inspiration from for the algorithms and things like that. I think that that's a very grey area that will be investigated, like via copyright law and things like that.
Well, the thing is, it's still it's still, again, like I say, in its infancy. The stuff that we're getting access to is nothing like what the people have further in the AI rabbit hole than us. Right, it's like there's basically when you actually read about the people who make this stuff, they are disturbingly religious about it. They believe we're good, like we're going to have AI God and things like that. But that's almost they want that to happen, right? So it's like you read some of the stuff that they all believe. It's like it's almost like some sort of mad religious cult where it's like they believe we're going to upload our souls to the cloud and things like that. And it's like it's like. But AI music, that's at least ours.
Yeah.
It's
definitely.
But it's like the actual way people use it. Again, I keep saying it's not the tool; it's how people use it. It's like it's basically like it's no different to a sync button or ghost producing. It's like if you're not using, if you're being lazy, it's people are going to be able to see that. But it's like the way. I think some of the ways that even like producers are using it a bit. I don't agree with them like putting actual releases. I can't even say that because I signed a track with an AI vocal in it, but it's like I'm not 100% on board with people using an AI vocal for a released track. I think what you should actually be doing is maybe using it as a demo. It's like a session vocalist. It's like do use that as a demo, test the track out in a club or whatever, and then if it's something that you think is gonna be potentially bigger than it could than it might have been, get it resung properly, and then at least actually it's going to be a much better track for it.
We have used like AI vocal for just literally use as a top line, produce the track, arrange it as it should be, then remove the vocal after the fact and use a proper vocal in it. We've done that because it just helps with workflow. Other than that, the vocal was nowhere near good enough to be able to put into a finished track. Like you say, it's good enough for a demo because people get the idea of what the finished product might sound like. But get a proper.
I mean, Alex Powell's Under Club. He's he engineers for a lot of people at the moment, and he sent me a track the other day, which straight away I could tell it was a Suno vocal. But even I was sort of like thinking, I could only tell it was a Suno vocal because of the voice. It's just like because, like I said, get that whole generic voicing, don't you? Where it's like, I think was it Harry Hard who said something about all the tracks seem to have the same vocalist in, and it's a Suno vocalist. It's like, that's the only reason I could tell. If it had been a different voice, I wouldn't have been able to tell because it was really, really, really clean was the vocal. Right, but Alex is someone who's done this for God knows how many years for a living. Right, so it's like. Right, so the fact that he can get it sounding that clean, and even because I said to him, "Is this a Suno vocal?" He said, "Oh, you can tell straight away." Kind of was like, "Only." I even said to him, "If it weren't for the fact it was that particular voice, I would have known."
Well, I get that.
So that's if people actually do it right, then use it properly, then it can be good. But it's just like I just think people should at least use a proper vocalist if you think it's going to be big enough.
Yeah, I think as well creativity, like. You can be creative in a Suno prompt to get different results. Like describe the vocal you want. Use descriptive writing to get to what you can hear in your head, rather than just go female vocal and then
If I was to show you the prompts I use for those silly songs I do, the prompts are huge. I put as much detail as I possibly could in there. It's like. At first, you could. I think when he first used it, you could only put 100 characters anyway, so you had to be really sort of
precise.
Not even precise. You couldn't be to get what you wanted to. If you really wanted something more than what everyone knows it for, then you couldn't have got creative with it because it was just like you couldn't put enough input into it. But now it's like you can put quite a lot of detail in the prompts. And it's like the prompts I put just for those silly songs, right? To get like all those things, like when people keep going like because I was on like a mad saxophone solo or something like that, or like the proper 80s like hi hats and things like that. I literally put in the prompts that I want those sounds in there. Like I'll put specifically I want a Lynn drum machine in there and things, right? Nice. So it's like if people just actually like really know what they want to get from it. Right, then then you can make use of it and get what you want from it. It's just like at least something along those lines. But it's like I think a lot of people who are using it aren't necessarily producers either. But sort of people who take something to a studio with them. So it's like they'll do a Suno vocal because it gives them something to work with that's not a pop tune.
No, I get that as well. I do.
So I think that's what a lot of it is. Like, if you're not a producer, then you're not going to do it. But if I don't engineer my own stuff, but it's like I know exactly what sound I want in something. So it's like I can do that with Suno quite easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask a couple of listener questions, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Again, if you are listening right now and you want to ask questions and put questions forward to Scene Chat, obviously you can let me know via social media on instant message and direct message, or you can email in the pod, and that's manicmusichq@hotmail.com. We have got a couple of things to get through today. I'm not sure we'll get through.
It's going to be a long episode, I think.
It's fine. I don't honestly. It's as long as you've got the time, mate. That's all right.
Yeah, I've got time.
No worries. So we have first question from question for the next Scene Chat. Can you make a podcast with someone, then not upload it because of the backlash, sorry, I'm going to say that again. Question for the next Scene Chat. Can you make a podcast with someone, then not upload it because of the backlash from a scene full of egotistical wet lettuces? Cheers. And that's from Kieran Clark. That is something that's directly aimed at me. So we'll just answer that. I'll answer that quickly. So full context for anyone listening, Kieran Clark, or Key Clark, DJ from Cumbria. He's been known to be a bit outspoken online, let's say. And in 2022, possibly, I did record a podcast with him, and I'm going to just clear this up. I'm going to give you my point of view, and then we'll move on.
Yeah.
What happened was we recorded it, Kieran. I think it was quite a good podcast. As soon as I announced it, straight away, I still had all intentions of releasing it. When I saw the backlash that was coming in, and I'm going to name drop somebody here. I was speaking to a mutual friend, Berg. He'll know who I'm talking about, and he messaged me with the exact same thing as I was thinking. I didn't want this to go out for people for Kieran's mental health to be in the bin. At the time, he was trying to reinvent himself to sort of come back. He said he'd grown up, and like in the podcast, he even says he's grown up and you know, he's changed in comparison to the immature lad that he once was in some of his opinions. Yeah. Which I spoke to him and I agreed with at the time. He come across as much more professional in that podcast, but I thought releasing the podcast was possibly one of the worst things that could have done if he was looking to rebuild his DJ career and his keep his sort of mental health on track with the music. I think the best thing was not releasing it, so we never released it, and that's the be all and end all of it. If anything had happened, or if he'd finished DJing and was in a bad place, I'd have probably put that on myself. I don't want that. So there we go. There's your answer to that one, Kieran. Thanks. I think
what I would say to that is I do remember that incident, right? Because even I'm very much against the idea of people, like knowing the whole cancel culture thing. All about who it was. This was it was all about like who should and shouldn't have a platform, and it's like it was never right. And what they used to do was they didn't try and with the whole cancel culture era. It wasn't about like how to put it. It wasn't people because I've had a similar sort of thing recently myself with I'm not sure I'll go into detail about it in a moment, but right the thing is the whole cancel culture thing it was never about like actually like they never directed it at the people it was aimed at. If you get in the sense of like they wouldn't give him all the shit for it. They would give you the shit for having him on your podcast. It's like that's it. Used to get. It's like whenever someone like got cancelled, as it were, it was always like you get a load of people going after that person's like say if we're on if we're on a podcast, something like this. So why are you having this person on your podcast? This person's a terrible person. Or they go after a job saying, I don't think you should employ this person because he said this mean thing on the internet. And it's like, And the thing is, it's like I'm one of those people that have who you want on your podcast. It's like I don't care, and it's like, and to be honest, it's like I'm more interested in those kind of people. But I think the thing with Kieran was right. It's all right saying he'd grown up a bit, but it was still at this sort of thing like 3 months earlier where he was just giving people abuse for no reason whatsoever, and it was like, and it's like the thing with him was one of those people. It's like he'd do all this and then try and be nice.
Mm-hmm.
He'd try and play nice. It's like that's what annoyed me more than anything with him. But he was going after everybody like for no reason whatsoever. And then he had him on his podcast, but he's like only 3 months earlier been giving people abuse. It's like you can't grow up much in that time, mate. But at the same time, I had a similar thing myself. It's not like this year I was nearly taken off a gig. I won't go into detail about what gig it was, but I basically got to the club and the owner of the club had an email from somebody who really didn't like me. It was quite high profile, like somebody who'd been on TV actually. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because I don't want it to create an issue. Right, but this person, I don't know if you remember last year, but somebody posted a lot of things about me being an evil, transphobic person who like harassed this person for 10 years straight, even though he'd had me blocked on every platform for 4 years, and I worked for his husband until 2020. And but this person had contacted the club, and it wasn't the promoter who was taking me off. He said the owners told me I'm not allowed to have you playing them, but by that point I was already in the club, and it was. And to be honest, I started laughing when I heard about it because this was somebody who was just going after me for no reason whatsoever over an issue we had with each other 4 years earlier.
No,
that's a different kind of matter. It's like I do understand. But I think with Kieran, it's like because I remember saying sometimes I'd have what you want on your podcast, but it's like I don't understand. I wouldn't understand what benefit to you to have him on there. Like it probably would have done more harm to you than it would have to him, because he if we all do, his name was in the gutter anyway. By that point, nobody liked him. Right, whereas you were like doing really well with your podcast, and yeah, you had him on, and it would have made you look bad because it's like obviously you know the guy, but at the same time, this is something that's been going on like up until like only weeks earlier. Right, so that's what I said. It was more of a case that right, you've had him on your podcast. You might say he's grown up and all this. I don't see how much grown up. If he had him on your podcast now, that might be a different matter because he hasn't been. I don't think he's been on the internet for that long, like for a long time. But although he did have lots, but he's like, but again, when all that started, as soon as like people said something to him, he started giving people shit again.
yeah. Well,
it's like fair if you could say, well, if everyone's going to hate him anyway, he might as well just carry on being like that. But at the same time, it's like you were telling he's gone on your podcast saying everybody he's grown up. Well, again, hasn't grown up that much, has he?
No, I understand what you're saying. The whole like take the Kieran incident out of it. I do believe I don't believe that cancel culture is even a thing. I know it was really popular on the internet a few years ago, but if you're cancelled, you're only cancelled if you let yourself be cancelled. I know comedians who've been cancelled, but it's only because they've let things get to them, like because they've said something, in another generation ago, like back in maybe 2005, and it's maybe
it's a very real thing. I will say it's a real thing. There is actually an organisation which joined called Freedom in the Arts, which basically because this is something that we should be aware of in the music scene, because the thing is a lot of the sort of thing, where you get into like events cancelling artists because they've said a bad thing on the internet. A lot of it's actually illegal. A lot of it's actually illegal to do. Right? If you got an event and you lost a gig because loads of people complained to that promoter and said you said this mean thing on the internet. Most of the time, like these mean things that people have said on the internet are jokes, or they haven't even said anything controversial. Like it could be something as basic as being. It should be something like I won't go into what it was for me. It could be something like it's actually perfectly legal opinion to hold, and it's actually like we say we don't have like we do to an extent have like a free speech law in this country because if you were to get sacked from work for saying something that's like some people don't like, but is not actually being sort of like hateful or anything in the sense of being racist, misogynistic, like hateful. Like you can actually, like it is actually illegal for like people like take gigs from you because it's like if it's paid. If people are just being in self-preservation mode, you can actually sue that promoter. Like that's the thing is I've actually joined this organisation because with me is like because what I said, if it had been a case of that I didn't end up playing for this event, I could have sued that club. I could have sued that club, and I would have done it because I would have done it to make not even about me. It'd been to make the point to them that they can't do this.
Of course not. I understand it.
Yeah,
I do.
That's the thing. So cancel culture is the thing. But you say, I'll actually send you a thing about where they've actually done this big report because people are actually being took off gigs from a certain country. Like Russia. Like there's a lot of DJs in Russia who are getting taken off events and things like that just because of Vladimir Putin. It's like, but it's actually in this country. It's actually illegal to do that. So that's the thing with the whole cancel culture thing. It's like it depends on the individual, doesn't it? With someone like Kiri, it was like I wasn't bothered that he had him on the podcast. Just didn't think it would have any good to have him on there.
No. I've got a couple more questions as well. So this question's from Anonymous. You mentioned brands before, but when it comes to towns and cities, what are your top three for rave culture and why? So Dave, that's a good question for you. You're a well-traveled man. Taking the brands out of it, what's the top three cities for parties for you?
Right. I think the thing we've been naming specific cities is like, are we talking about like I say, leaving brands out? Are we talking about the quality of the events, or are we talking about the quality of the ravers? That's what I'm going to say. Because like I think a lot of these cities that get the decent events, that's not necessarily where the ravers are from these days.
No, a lot of people
travel, but a lot of people travel to go to events now. So it's like, if you took the events out of the city, and put them to where the ravers actually live, it's like I don't you see what I'm saying? It's like it's like look, people go to. I would the first thing to place I think automatically Manchester, Leeds, and I would probably say either it'd probably be Nottingham or Newcastle. But because the thing is, when there are decent events there, it's like you get it and it's like majority rate. I think majority ravers have always like been
a bit mad.
I think maybe it's like the further north you go, the better quality ravers you get. I think it's like you go down south. You go down south, and it's like even if you've got big events like London, like you can go to a big event there. You can go to a big event there, and the crowd will be miserable as fuck. And also a lot of the London clubbers, they do look at outsiders like for outsiders. It's like for such a diverse city, they really don't like outsiders. It's like,
so
and it's like, but I think with them, I think if you took the events out, I think if you took the events out of some of the cities, though, for example, I think if you moved but I think if you were able to move some of the events in Manchester to somewhere like, I don't know, Nottingham is a good example, actually. I think if you move to then Nottingham would actually be better in Nottingham, but it's just like because the people who go to those events would travel anyway. But it's like there's a lot of party heads in Nottingham.
Yeah, no. I'm talking overall culture, so a bit of everything. So if we're talking ravers, we're talking the actual events themselves, even the brands and promoters in that area. You know, I'm not saying you can pick them up and move them elsewhere, but just right now, where are the top three? If you had to do it,
I would probably say sort of but I think based on the fact that I've been there, so was Nottingham would be my third one. It's like and then Leeds and Manchester, because it's just Leeds. Leeds has a lot of things going on, and it's like even though the city itself is sort of died a bit because a lot of the, I suppose, a lot of like decent clubs in Leeds are shut down. It's like mainly because it's like if you go out in Leeds, it's like you're paying. You're getting close to beef for prices for drinks in some places.
yeah. Leeds is New London, isn't it? It's definitely.
Yeah, it's like, and like, cause I did find this quite amusing the other week when I was at Pier. It's like, because obviously you saw all the things about the drinks tokens being quite expensive, but they are quite expensive now. But I remember when people complained about it, my friend who was with me actually said, what are people complaining about? We pay this in Leeds. I was just like, yeah, exactly. I said, we pay for, said, he's just got, obviously it's only the same price as fibre in Leeds. I'm like, yes, that's the point. Leeds is expensive.
Yeah.
I think in terms of the actual Leeds, like, because it's like you go to somewhere like Rejuve or like even any events, but a lot of the events are on at places like Beaverworks or Hi-Fi Club and places like that. It's like they are ravers. They are actually proper ravers. I think it's like
exactly.
and also it's like you get a very broad crowd of people like age ranges.
Yep.
It's like obviously like somewhere like an old school event, you're gonna find a lot of old school ravers, but it's just like you just find a lot of people who still go clubbing in the like 50s, and they go out regularly, and it's like they're not even like when I say they go out regularly, they're not even like just like aging records. They're actually people who are really into the music. And I find people are more into the music in places like Leeds and Manchester, and then Nottingham Nottingham, you've got a lot more people into it. Yeah, you get more things like drum and bass and things like that. But it's like, but again, you still get people who are really into the music, and you get a younger crowd there. You get a bigger crowd of young people there.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna put my three out there, and we're quite similar. I'm gonna say number 3 is Manchester. I like Manchester. Don't get me wrong, but I think there's better out there. I'm gonna say number 2 has to be Leeds. Leeds for me. Obviously, I worked in Leeds for a while, and it opened my eyes to a few things when it comes to parties, because there's some really good promoters there. And then number 1 for me, and although some people say it's gate kept, I understand, but it's a really fucking enjoyable night out with and you get educated in your music. I want to say Liverpool.
Yeah, I would have put Liverpool. I would have said Liverpool was in the top 3 years ago. Maybe not now, but just because it's like Liverpool. I don't think Liverpool ever recovered from sort of like the all the like well-known clubs that are dying. It never. I don't think it ever really recovered from that, because that was when a lot of the music changed there as well. But you do get, like I said, you do get people who are really into the music there, which is one of the reasons like a station like In Demand exists. Basically, it's like the closer thing to what we've done with In Demand Radio is like maybe what we've done with LDC in Leeds, and even then it's like LDC. It does very well considering how small it is, right? But it's got an outside influence. It's got quite a wide reach, but it's not anywhere near as well as what In Demand is. And a lot of the In Demand's done so well is because people wanted the music back. It's like Liverpool. It's like the home of a lot of it. It's like Mike Scala. What can I say? It's like the dance music Beatles, isn't it? So that's I think a lot of it was. It's like those sort of people, the people who like grew up with that, wanted that back, because that's what all these big stations paying, like old band like Global and like Bauer Media buying all the stations. It killed it off. It took the locality out of the music that were getting played there.
No, definitely. So I'm going to ask you. These are. I would say a little bit of quick fire questions, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And this is two features that I've introduced with when I've got co-hosts on, because it's just a little bit of fun,
Yeah.
and we'll tie up there. So the first one is obviously in the last, say, since January till now. What's been, if you had to pick one record, what's been the absolute killer record for you in the last
Oh,
6
you're
months?
asking me something there. You're asking me something there because there's been loads of brilliant tunes coming out this year. It's like I would go as far as saying I bet even like stuff from your own label, it's like it's not even competing with what's coming out elsewhere. There's absolutely loads. Let me think.
If you had to just pick one that you've just, even if it was a shock of oh my god, this has gone off and I wasn't expecting it, or like one that's just been an absolute killer for you as an individual in your sets.
Thing is, I know if I'm gonna say one that's on my mind immediately, I'm probably gonna regret it because it's just the easiest one that comes to mind. So I'm gonna have a think.
Okay.
Right, but let me go. Right, because I'm just thinking about the sort of stuff I've played on the radio this year as well. Because obviously I've got a radio show now, and what I've actually been playing out a lot. Because it's a computer thing. The tune I'm thinking of actually came out at the end of last year as well, so it's not even a 2026 tune.
But if you're playing it this year, it does count. Right. If it's a tune that's came into this year and you're playing it, then it obviously still counts.
Right, I can't even look at my phone either, so I can remind myself. God,
there's bound to be one that's had a bigger reaction than the rest, surely.
Yeah, but there's been loads of tunes like that coming out this year. Honestly, the last 18 months has been my favourite period for music in a bloody long time. Right, because the amount of music I buy, I probably buy more music than I have in a long time. And bear in mind, I'm on quite a lot of promo lists as well, because I even get like Power Promotion sending me stuff. So it's like I don't even have to buy most of the stuff anymore. Right, but I would probably say. It's not gonna be. Can I have three?
The rule is one, I'm afraid. I'm sorry, but you can give me honourable mentions after the fact.
Well, the thing is, we're all on an equal footing. That's the thing. So
okay, give me all three, and I'll pick it.
Right, Dart and Kyle Starkey all forever. Right, okay. That's just been that I've not got bored of that. It's like I was after that tune for months before it came out, but it's like, but even now, it's like I played definitely bored of it. I really think. Oh, another Kyle Starkey one. Try to basically mash up of one of his tracks with Let's Go, and also it's quite a recent one, and I wouldn't say it's my favourite tune this year, but I played it out twice and it's gone off.
Go on.
Vivace Crazy, which is I'm waiting for that to get pulled down actually, because it's basically a bootleg of the vocal version of Lithium.
Okay.
Like
sorry, I know that one. Yeah.
And that's it, right? Because what happened was I heard it, and it's like, and when I saw it was getting released, I sent it to my friend who basically works all around the world, right? Thinking he must have been aware of it because it's been released by Polydor. It's been released by Polydor. It's never been cleared. It's got the original vocal and everything. It's never been cleared, and it's gone out on Polydor. Right. Wow. So I think at the moment we're going through the process of trying to sort it out, because it's like I think it's out there. It's one of them where it's like it's not beneficial to anybody. It's not beneficial to anybody to take it down, but at the same time, it's a bootleg. It's basically, and I think they got to. I think Polydor put it out thinking that it was actually like they'd cleared it. Because I think they signed an agreement saying we've cleared it. And it's literally the original vocal in there. But when I played that at Pier, and obviously I expected it to go down well because of the vocal, but it wasn't even the vocal part that went down well. It was all the bits around it. Yeah. Like it was like I remember seeing the reaction it got. I was like, "Wow, I wasn't expecting to get that."
Nice. I'll be honest, it's all right. I heard it and I was like, "Oh, there's something to it," but it may, I don't know. It was one of them that
It's
wasn't
very
for me.
it's very Ketamerish.
I can see the appeal that why it would do so well.
It is. If you actually listen to it, it's not even the best produced track. It's not.
Yeah.
And it's just built around a few little things. It's a bastard to mix as well. It's an absolute bastard to mix, right? But honestly, the times the two times I've played that out, that has gone right off.
Nice. Well, we're just going to tie up today, if that's okay, mate. I just want to say thank you for coming on, co-host with us. We got into the weeds with some stuff there that I thought was quite interesting. I hope you've enjoyed the experience.
Sorry, it took so long to like sort this out. So after I slept in the other day, I literally like slept through my alarm and I woke up at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was like, oh shit.
No, don't worry about it, honestly. If you've enjoyed Dave on the show, let us know in the comments. If you would like to see Dave come back on again, I'm sure he'd be happy to. I know he likes talking music. And if you've got questions for him, send them over. And next time he's on, I'll save them.
Yeah, while I'm here, I'm gonna say what I said online. I said, please send him some more interesting questions. Right, some of these questions that people are sending in is like, right, I know it's not your fault, and it's like, I did feel a bit mean saying it the way I did, but it was genuinely. I was watching the episode. I just thought, why are we still talking about this stuff in 2026? It's like those people are asking, but it's like you've had the answers like zillions of times everywhere else you've asked, right? So why are you asking this question again? It's like that is one of the problems with like people in the music scene. I think it's just right. You get so hyper focused on things like girls producing and stuff like that. It's just like that's not the thing that matters. That's not the thing that matters. Like, it doesn't matter what everybody else is doing. What matters is what you're doing. But so I think if people want to get something out of this, we need to ask questions that are relevant to what they're doing and not what everybody else is. But that's the main thing I want to say to people. Like, think about what you're doing and don't be so bothered about questioning why everyone else is doing this. Okay. If you get me.
No, I get that. So yeah,
that's my little 2p in there.
Just to echo Dave, if you have got interesting questions and you think it's a genuine good topic, again, write them in. Any questions, a good question, because if it's not, I won't ask it going forward. We've had some daft questions that I've had to cut
right, just because. Now it's like, so now you got to start ranking the questions every week. It's like do a little chat about this. This is a good question about things, and then it's like the top 3 questions get asked.
And if there is some bad questions, it's because we've had a slow week with submissions.
Oh, okay.
No. But yeah, again, thanks, Dave, for coming on. I really appreciate it. I hope everyone else has enjoyed it. And again, if you want to submit your questions, if you want to submit your tracks and that for review, just let us know at manicmusichq@hotmail.com. Again, thanks, Dave, for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No problem, mate. Thank you for having me.
See you later.